Hello, welcome. Hope you are doing great. Thank you for joining me. Today's reading is just a general reading on how people view you, how they're viewing you right now, how they see you in general. But we do have three groups for you to choose from. Group one, the pink tourmaline. Group two, the soda light. And group three, the blue calcite. So if you do need some time to choose your group, feel free to pause the video so you can take a moment. But I will see you guys in your readings, okay? Welcome. I hope you are doing great. Thank you so much for joining me. So if you have chosen the first group, the pink tourmaline, then this reading is for you. How do people view you? How are people viewing you right now, okay? So we'll start off with your tarot cards. We have the Knight of Swords upright, we have the Six of Swords in reverse, and we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So please only take the messages that make sense, But anyway, so how do people view you? So people could view you as quite unemotional. Some could think you don't have feelings at times. They think that you don't have much time for emotions, that you maybe lead with your head and not your heart. You could be viewed as someone who is maybe more like secretive. Some people could view you as vulnerable, but not necessarily as someone who shows their vulnerability. Or maybe you do, but just to specific people. But yeah, some people could view you as quite secretive. Like some people think that they can see your brain working at times and they're kind of like wondering what you're thinking, And people see you as someone that they do want to communicate with more, or someone that they look forward to talking to. Like a lot of people view you as cool, you know. But other people could view you as quite stressed. Like you could be seen as stressed, someone who maybe deals with a lot of stress. People do think that there is a lot more going on with you than meets the eye. Like they do feel like there is a lot more going on beneath the surface when it comes to you. But generally, you are viewed as someone who is very cool, down to earth, and fun, but not very affectionate, not very outwardly emotional. So some people could view you as quite stoic. People could view you as like someone who finds it easy to deliver hard news. They could think that you have the right delivery for it, or they just think you know how to handle difficult situations. You could be viewed as not being the best at relationships, or some of your relationships have just been really, rocky, or maybe even toxic and unhealthy for some of you guys. But this could be any kind of relationship, to be honest. It doesn't have to be about romantic relationships. It could be friendships, family relationships, work relationships. Um, so yeah, some of you could be viewed as not being great at relationships, um, because some people think that you aren't great at maintaining relationships with them. Some people could view you as a bit careless at times. In terms of your actions, not necessarily in like terms of your words or something like that. Like careless as in like mistakes. Like some people could view you as accident prone for some of you guys. But people do think you've been taking care of yourself a lot more. You could be viewed as overwhelming or intimidating to some people. People do think that your love cup is empty, that you don't really have a lot of people pouring love or support into you. That could be one of the reasons why people view you as like just maybe not very loving or not very affectionate, you know? But people do view you as intuitive and grounded. Some people view you as quite distant at times. There are a few people who see you as someone they've missed their chance with. But again, like this could be referring to any kind of relationship. People often view you as stubborn. People see you as action oriented, and some people see you as someone who has a very quick mind. People could view you as being in some kind of a rush. Maybe you walk fast or talk fast, or you're always on the go, or you're busy. But some people think that you always say the right thing, or there are certain situations where you just always know the right thing to say, you know? But some people view you as not being easy to get along with, that you aren't the warmest, or you're not super friendly, you know? People think you aren't in the right place to commit, or it's not something that is a priority for you right now, or it's not something that you want at the moment. But people see you as having a lot of layers, as very interesting, dynamic. People could assume that you want to be successful, or they know this because you've said it, or you know, you've just shown them that you want to be successful and that you are going to be successful. Um, some people think that you don't really give other people a chance. But not because maybe they kind of feel like maybe you're not interested in really giving other people a chance, maybe being open and kind of letting people in, or kind of just being close to them, you know. But people do think you have a lot of self-discipline, or they kind of see you as someone who is very firm with the people in your life, or maybe even, you know, quite firm and disciplined in the things that you do. Some people see you as being hurt though, and I don't know in which way. Some people could view you as having been hurt emotionally. Like they could feel like this is something that's still that you kind of still carry with you. Some people could view you as harsh. But people do view you as someone who would rather make peace than, you know, to start or carry on a conflict. Like people do generally think you're quite tough, but they do see you as being open to change, or that you like change and you're okay with change. Generally, you're viewed as someone who does have a lot of courage. So we also have questioning, we have introverted, we have outspoken, we have enigmatic, and we have emotional. So, you know, similar to what came up before, people don't see you or don't view you as being very emotional. Like some people could believe that you don't have a lot of emotional depth. And that could be just because some of you are selective in, who you share that stuff with, you know. But people, with enigmatic, people do view you as quite interesting, like captivating as well. Like something about you is captivating. People, all right, so for some of you, people view you as outspoken. It doesn't have to be all the time, it could just be occasionally you're quite outspoken. So with questioning, people could view you as someone who maybe has, I don't want to say trust issues. Do people view you as someone? Maybe as someone who has trust issues. That was clarified by the Three of Swords actually. So it could be, again, like someone who's been hurt. So they kind of maybe question other people, their actions, their motives, and stuff like that. And for some of you, people could also view you as quite introverted. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I really do hope it could be helpful and make sense. But I am wishing you all the best, okay? Take care. Okay, hello, how are you? If you've chosen the second group, the sodalite crystal, then this reading is for you. How do people view you? All right, so we have the star upright, we have Ace of Swords in reverse, and we have the Fool upright. So how do people view you? Okay, so how do people view you? All right, people view you as really positive. They think you always try to see the best in situations, in people, maybe even in problems, They could think that you are someone who is going to maybe look for a solution. People could view you as an advocate. I don't know, an advocate in what way, or a promoter, even, or persuasive, or someone people would advocate for. Like a lot of people would speak highly of you, already speak highly of you. But people view you as hopeful and open minded. Some people could view you as having like this childlike spirit to you. They see you as someone who has a big heart and is generally very kind and polite and warm. People do view you as very attractive though. Your appearance is youthful and fresh. They think that you take care of yourself and take care of your appearance. Some people could think you have great skin. A lot of people see you as inspiring and as someone who does have a lot of potential. Some people could think you experience a lot of jealousy, or that could be something that people notice, even if you haven't noticed, or, that could be something other people have. Some people see you as dreamy, having your head in the clouds a little bit. They do think you are idealistic. People see you either as religious or spiritual. But you are viewed as healing, but also helping or encouraging other people to heal. Or, like when people around you, you make them forget their problems for a while. people generally see you as someone who is quite playful. It feels like a lot of people like to see you smile. A lot of people do think you have a unique character. And some people think you're either psychic or very intuitive. A lot of people could view you as someone who's left their wild days behind them. People perceive you as responsible, possibly safety conscious for some of you, random. But yeah, some people could view you as safety conscious. Maybe even in certain situations, quite protective. They could view you as someone who doesn't really stick to a plan, maybe spontaneous, maybe as someone who doesn't really have a routine. Some people could see you as forgetful at times, or you get distracted easily, but a lot of people do perceive you as quite mysterious. Some people could think that you don't have a lot of resources, but think you do great with the limited resources that they think you have. But people think you're always learning and that you're teachable, you're open to learning, or open to being taught, and they also, see you as a quick learner. Some people believe you are very naturally talented. This could be in any way, in maths, in terms of creativity, in terms of, I don't know, maybe in terms of your work or your family, but they do view you as very talented in some way. But people could think you're afraid of making the wrong decisions or doing the wrong thing, that you may struggle to trust yourself. They view you as vulnerable, as someone that needs to be looked after, even if you don't feel like you need to be looked after. People could see you as someone who could, who either they would want to look after, or they kind of just feel like, okay, like they would just think someone needs to have your back. But yeah, people do think you like your freedom, that you hate restrictions, that you do like to be free to do what you like to do. People see you as a risk taker, that you aren't afraid of failure. And generally, people see you as very happy and having good luck. Some people could view you as maybe not the best conversationalist, or maybe someone that they struggle to have conversations with. But that's not everyone, though, of course. It's mostly people who don't know you very well who think that. So we also have non-competitive, we have extravagant, we have frugal, we have modest, and we have harsh. Okay. So people could view you as down to earth. I don't know about modest. Yeah, it definitely feels more like down to earth. I don't know if I'm going to say this in the right way, but some people could view you as someone who they see as being extravagant. Like, they don't necessarily view you as extravagant, but they feel like you could pull it off, if that makes sense. Like they could see you being extravagant, they could see you going to nice places or possibly taking you to nice places. So yeah, it's almost like someone who hasn't been discovered yet, you know, like they could view you like that. You know, I feel that came out earlier in the reading, but like they do view you as having a lot of potential. So people could view you as not being very competitive when it comes to other people, or maybe in certain situations. I know the message earlier of jealousy came up. Um, but yeah, generally people don't really view you as competitive. And in terms of frugal, I know the message earlier about having limited resources came up. So some again, like that could just be a repetition of that message. Let me double check. Yeah, so some people could view you as maybe being careful with money, maybe managing your money well, or just not having, you know, the most resources at the moment, you know. But yeah, with harsh, people could believe they have rough communication with you. Like some people could feel like they have rough communication. I know the message just a moment ago about people um, feeling like they can't communicate with you. Again, that could be just referring to people who don't really know you. So maybe, you know, in their opinion, the conversations come off harsh, whether that's coming from them or you, or, you know, maybe it just doesn't really flow like that, you know, for some people. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I really do hope it could be helpful and make sense. But I am wishing you all the best, okay? Please take care. Okay, hello, welcome. If you have chosen the third group, the blue calcite, then this reading is for you. How do people view you? Okay, so we have the Hierophant in reverse, Eight of Cups upright, Death card in reverse. Okay. All right. So some people could view you as very passionate, actually. Some people could view you as aggressive as well. Some people could think you're a bit dark, maybe even a little bit negative. But people generally view you as someone who doesn't really conform, that you're not very traditional. People view it as a good thing though, or they at least respect it. But people could feel like you're always caught up in conflict or confrontation. Let me see something. But people don't really view you as confrontational. They could think that drama follows you a little bit, even though it may not be intentional on your part. But yeah, let me see something. So there are some people that feel like you rub them the wrong way for some reason. For some of you, maybe it's because you don't try to fit in, or you're honest, or you're blunt, or they assume you're being judgmental. Or maybe some of you guys are very, what's that word? Like observational, like you observe things, maybe observe people, or people kind of get that vibe. So it could kind of make them feel, some type of way, like someone's kind of looking into their soul type of thing. So yeah, some people could feel um, they're not put off by you or anything like that, but they may feel like anxious or worried when they're around you because of some of those things, or maybe because of something you are more aware of. But this definitely isn't everyone. Let me see, actually. It's not friends, it's not family, it's not even people that you work with. This could be people that maybe you meet in social settings. Maybe these are like acquaintances or people you don't really know that well, that don't really know you that well, but maybe they see you in a certain environment. Uh, I don't know if it's quite often. This for this group, it could be mostly strangers that view you this way, actually, because it doesn't really feel like people who really know you, even people who don't know you that well, like acquaintances or people you see around and about. So yeah, this could definitely be like strangers, like people who probably won't even see you again. So yeah, there could be certain things that you've done that people feel has rubbed them the wrong way, but it doesn't even seem like something bad. But maybe you unintentionally hurt someone's feelings. But it does feel like it has something to do with communication. Maybe you don't tell people what they want to hear and that rubs them the wrong way, but it does seem like people view you as saying things that most people wouldn't, you know? But at the same time, like they definitely view you as being honest with it. Anyway, so some people could view you as having unusual beliefs. For some of you, people could even view you as having harmful beliefs. But people see you as believing in yourself. People do view you as quite confident as well. They could view you as being very different from your family, your friends, people in your community. People could think that you've tried to change theirs or another person's views. Some people could view you as having little or no spiritual faith. And it feels like a lot of you in this group actually have very strong faith or, very strong, spiritual connection to whatever it is that you believe in. But it feels like a lot of people are judging you. Like, say, for example, you are like me and you always wear black, So maybe some people was like, oh, okay, this person is dark and gloomy. Maybe they're not religious or not connected to anything higher than themselves. But people are just basically judging you on appearance. But again, like these feel like people that don't really know you all that well. So yeah, anyways, some people view you as open-minded, some people view you as closed-minded. Some view you as being like maybe a bit antisocial, or you're just not very inviting. Or they believe you aren't good in social situations. Some people do see you as guarded. Some people could see you as defensive. But people think you have gone through difficult situations, difficult breakups, difficult, endings and transitions. Some of these people could assume that you are pulling back from relationships. Some people could feel like you are, or you are becoming like maybe heartless or, jaded even. Some people could view you as someone who could possibly benefit from doing some soul searching. But people generally view you as someone who is a deep thinker. They think you are, contemplative as well. Um, people could perceive you as someone who needs to chill out by themselves for a bit, maybe go into hermit mode, like hibernate for a while, especially if you have been through something heavy, or people could just assume you're going through heavy things and maybe assume that it would be best for you to take a step back and, kind of deal with those things, even if that's like not true to your life. But yeah, they could think that you need a break, need to take a break from something or someone, or pull back from something or someone for the good of everyone involved. Some people could view you as quite intense or just emotionally drained, to be honest. Like very emotionally exhausted. People see you as maybe more than just emotionally, maybe even physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. But a lot of people assume and kind of view you as someone that is trying to let go and move on from the past. All right, so we have fearless, we have decisive, we have worried, we have obedient, and we have casual. So people view you as someone who expects other people to not necessarily obey them, but to listen to them, or they view you as someone who expects to lead in certain situations. Maybe they think you're not someone who is likely to be led, instead doing the leading. So it feels like some people view you as the opposite of casual. Let me see if this is about appearance. Yeah, it feels like people view you as the opposite of casual. If anything, they view you as quite intense. They do view you as fearless. Or there are certain times where they've seen you be fearless. But a lot of people could view you as someone who maybe makes other people feel a bit anxious. So people also view you as someone who tries to be decisive, or as someone who maybe needs to be a bit more not indecisive, decisive, as someone who needs to be more decisive. All right, but maybe it does have something to do with indecision. I don't know. Let me see. Some people could view you as indecisive, actually, some of you guys. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I really do hope it could be helpful, make sense. But I am wishing you all the best, all right? Please take care of yourselves. Bye.